Welcome into Kitchen Talk Pickleball Edition. I'm your host, Caitlin Miller, and this week's guest is Altaf Merchant, such an animated player, also undefeated as a senior pro in the 2023 season. Altaf, how are you doing?
Caitlin, you have no idea. My whole life, I wanted to get interviewed by somebody from Nashville. This is it. Now I can retire.
I love it. I know you're not too far away from me, which I love.
I'm going to tell you something that I know. I've been told that Caitlin Miller asks like the best questions. Okay. I've been told you better be ready. But I guarantee you, you have not done your research on me all the way to my initial days of pickleball. So I'm going to ask you a question to start off.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go.
Tell me about how I got going in pickleball and tell me why Nashville is near and dear to my heart.
Well, I know that you were a nationally ranked player in India for tennis.
Oh my gosh, she hasn't done her research. Come on, let's go.
And then I know you played at Southern Illinois, but Nashville, I don't know why Nashville is important to you.
So Nashville is where I learned to play pickleball. Lipscomb University.
Oh my gosh, was that with Stephanie Lane?
So here's the thing. Stephanie Lane was like a rock star at that time.
Okay.
I can't, it's like Anna Lee right now. I'm not, I can't go talk to Anna Lee. I can talk, I'm not talking to Stephanie Lane. So I had just started pickleball, literally, played it a couple times. And my kids were in Nashville for a camp. And I show up and I'm like, what am I going to do? And so we Google pickleball and there's a game at Lipscomb University. And I go, I'm going to show up. So I show up. I have a paddle with a string in the bottom. It's like wrapped around my wrist and $12 paddle. And Nicole Hobson and Rick Hobson are taping the lines. And Nicole, she's running a lot of the APPs. She's like the tournament director.
Yes.
And Nicole will tell you the story that here I am with the paddle with a string. And I go, I want to play pickleball. And there are 16 people, 4 courts. And I'm talking my way. I mean, this is the greatest sales job I've ever done in my life.
Guys, I'm sure you're good at that.
Guys that play tennis, come on. I mean, everything. I'm from India, all this stuff. Finally, they allow me to play. And I start to play. And after the first game, Rick Hobson comes to me and says, hey, take this paddle. He gives me an engaged paddle. He says, take this paddle. It might help you out a little bit. And I mean, I am playing like tennis, okay? And I play for like 3 hours. The last game I get done playing and I'm leaving and Rick says, the guy you just played, like 11-9? I go, yeah. He goes, he just won the US Open. His name is Ollie Strecker. And
oh my gosh.
And so I was like, wow. And then after that, pickleball grew, but at that time we only had like 5 or 6 tournaments a year. So a few months later, the US Open was on and we were getting ready for the US Open and everybody used to meet at Lipscomb. Stephanie Lane, Brad Tursky, Jesse Taylor, Katie Dyer, all of the Southern players from Atlanta, everywhere would meet at Lipscomb and we train for the US Open. And so I have played so much pickleball in Nashville. It is, that's why anytime I get a call to go to a clinic in Nashville or do something with Nashville, I'm there. Because Nashville is where I learned pickleball.
Obviously a natural, clearly, but Altaf, who goes to Nashville and Googles, where do I play pickleball? That's so funny. That's so random, coming to Music City and pickleball was on your mind. I love it.
Well, I didn't want to do the Broadway and go on the bus and cycle and do the shots and do all that other stuff, So I'm leaving that to James. When James was in Vanderbilt, I told him, James, you do all of that. You call me on Thursday afternoon. I'll drive up to 505 and we'll drill a little bit.
Yes, I love the 505. I play there all the time. That's so funny.
That's when I first was I saw one of your videos on Instagram or your reels or whatever they call it these days. And I go, that chick's playing in the 505. And when I send you a message, go 505, and you go, yeah, that's 505. I love that place too.
It is. It's hard. So for those that don't know, if the 505, it's a rooftop apartment complex in Nashville, and it's awesome. You can see the Batman building, you can see Broadway, but it's hard because one, the balls can go over, and they're all in that church little rooftop. And two, if it's windy, God bless, it's impossible to play up there.
And if it's not windy and it's perfect, correct?
Yes.
And there's the pool right there. and there's
I
all these like
know.
absolutely stunning people in the pool. So that's the only reason I beat James Ignatowicz. I own him at 505 because between the wind, between the Batman building, and all the gorgeous people at the pool, James is so distracted. I just own him at 505.
That's so funny. I hope he sees that because that is
Oh,
hilarious.
he
But
will.
no,
If
it
not, I will send him. I'll send him a snippet for sure.
I love it. Well, obviously, you are very entertaining, Altaf. You are known to be one of the most animated people on the court. Your hip thrust. I mean, does this just piss people off on the court?
You know, I've always said, like people have always said, like you know, it's only a matter of time. Kitty Dyer always said, it's only a matter of time before you're going to get your behind kicked. Somebody is going to, but then it's like, this used to happen to me when, when I go up to, go up to a gal in a bar too. I could get away by saying anything because I'm like 5'7". I mean, it's like all bark. There's no bite. Like, I mean, what am I going to do? I'm not going to fight anybody, right? So, I mean, I can get away with stuff. I'm like, so I do the hip thrust. I do all of that. Occasionally there are people that have been, upset, but I got to tell you, a lot of the guys, when we get off the court, they like the energy. It's a lot of fun. It's entertaining. And now it's just kind of like, oh, I'm playing Altaf. I got to get ready for some of that. Yeah.
No, that's so fun. And I'm sure, does it really like help you get your momentum going too on the court?
Caitlin, the amount of effort it takes me to get to go play pickleball and to take a weekend to go play. When I'm up there, I'm just like, I mean, I am, this is me on a normal day, this much energy. But in a pickleball tournament, this on steroids. I mean, I'm just so happy to be out there playing, competing. And I got to tell you, I did not even know I was hip thrusting. I just thought, I was like, what am I doing? And then Zane's like, dude, are you going to hip thrust again? And I go, what are you talking about? And then he starts to tell me. And so then it kind of, it grew from there. But it was just it was totally natural.
And I mean, speaking of being busy, I will give Altaf a lot of credit. He's a senior vice president at UBS. How the heck do you manage such a, high profile job and then also go on the road for these tournaments and maintain that undefeated status that you had last year and now you just have one loss? I mean, how the heck do you do this?
Well, you got to put the disclaimer, undefeated senior status in 2023. So I usually when my kids' friends come over, I always tell them, I say, I'm an undefeated pro pickleball player. And then my son goes, senior. I'm like, do you have to say that? Like, he knows I'm a senior. No, Dad, he doesn't. You got to tell them you're a senior. It's just time management. And I can tell you, like, every day, I just have it mapped out. I'm up at 3:30. I'm on the road at 4:20. I do my run. I have my drills. A lot of the times, like, people will text me and be like, hey, can we come out and drill in Owensboro? And I'll be like, I'm available June 10th. And it's like February 15th. Like, I was talking to Allison Harris this morning, and she's in Sacramento, and we mapped out all our drills from now to the U.S. Open. And so I just have a schedule, map it out, and just stick with it. And but this year, it's getting tougher and tougher. And if I was a regular pro, I don't think I'll be able to do it because, I think on the regular pro tour, you have to be committed to be doing this full time. Being on the Champions Tour, makes a big difference. And a lot of the tournaments, like this weekend in Minneapolis, Caitlin, I'm leaving my house at 2. I'm flying there on Saturday. I play Sunday, and I have a flight back at 3:00 and a flight back at 8. I have like multiple flights booked just so I can get back for work on Monday morning.
That is, I give you a lot of credit. And how much do you sleep every night? How many hours?
If I can get 6 good hours, okay, I'm totally fine. I'm really blessed because I don't need a lot of sleep. Like Andrea Coop says, sometimes I'll send her a text message in the afternoon when I'm drinking a cup of espresso at 2:00, and she goes, "Oh yeah, there you go." So if I can get 6 hours of sleep and a cup of espresso around 2 in the afternoon, I think I'm okay.
And I mean, you've won several medals at the U.S. Open championships, national championships. I mean, you're based out of Owensboro. Who do you typically train with, and how many days a week, how many hours a day?
So the most recognizable player that I train with in Owensboro is Allison Harris. And if I told you that last year in like April, you'd be like, who? And we just started. Her and I just started to play like in July. And um, I Owensboro has a lot of 5-0 guys, a lot of 5-0 men's players that I drill with. So I play if I can get an hour and 10 minutes of drilling time 3 days a week. That's all I need. I need my Kawamoto time. So once every 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I drive to Indy. It's a 7.5 hour round trip, but I play 4 hours with the Kawamotos against them. It's Andrea Coop and I against the Kawamotos. And in 4 hours, we have like 7,912 dinks, and we play like 5 games, and it's all, all resets. And that's all I need. 2017, 18, 19, 20, that whole period leading up to COVID, I used to fly to Madison, and Zane and Johnson Cola would come up there, and Dave, the Badger, and
Yes.
Zane and Sincola and I would play. Rick Witskin has been up there. A lot of the time, Dylan Frazier meets us in Chicago. So I have never, to me, if I can drill 3 days a week, keep my body in shape through I do a lot of cross training. I run every day. I jump rope 20 minutes every day. I jump rope 20 minutes
Good for
every
you.
day. So if I can do a bunch of cross training and drill about an hour 3 times a week, and then every 3 weeks get a good weekend of playing, I'm okay. I'm not getting any better, but I'm at least treading water.
The key to success. So it seems like drilling is a lot more critical than actually playing matches throughout the week.
For me, it is. Yeah. I don't, I love to play, like I'll go to Minneapolis on Saturday. If I can get like 4 games in, it'll be great. Because then my eye gets set to the pro speed. So I just need 4 rec games and I'm good to go. But drilling, if you look at my style of play, it's kind of, tedious and methodical, a lot of dinking, and so I dink in my hour drilling. I probably dink 30 minutes, hit about 20 minutes of thirds and maybe 10 minutes of hands, and then I'm ready to go.
But that's the key, is consistency. It's like, who's going to make the least amount of errors? So you probably drive people crazy by, doing your consistent dinks and third shot drops.
Yeah, I just want to be like, hey, this side is just, the ball's going to come back. The ball's going to come back. And then if I can get an aggressive partner on my left, then we have a shot in every match. I truly believe that's the beauty of pickleball, is if you can hit good thirds and not float your dinks, you're at least going to be in the match. You're at least going to be in a match. Whereas in tennis, somebody could serve like 140 miles an hour and you can never get it back. And you don't even have a chance, right? But in pickleball, the serve, the return, people are starting to serve big right now, but if you can hit a good third and a good dink, you at least have a chance.
And I saw in an interview, not to call you out or anything, but you said you used to always be known for your partner's play. You're like, oh, you're so-and-so's partner. And then in the airport, you said finally you were recognized for actually being a pickleball player.
Yeah, by TSA. I was like, oh, there you go, full cavity search. They got me, but the guy says pickleball player. And I was like, thank you. But yeah, I was always known as, Zane's partner, because Zane was the guy that, was all over. Zane was like, he saw the future, right? And he goes, I got to get on this thing called Instagram, and I got to get on Facebook, and I got to get my dog on Facebook and get everybody on Facebook. And so I was known as Zane's partner. And then Zane's dad, Zane's big brother, but never Altaf.
That's so funny. And you're so animated. You would think people would like know you for you. And obviously people do now. It's like hilarious watching the commentators and then also all the video highlights from your celebrations. I love it. It's so entertaining.
Well, it's, if you can't, I've always said this, with a name like pickleball, right? If you can't have fun playing it, it's such
Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it? It's such a fun, it's such a fun game. It's probably one of the few things that I will probably, the jury is still out, but when I say I'm not going to compete and play tournaments, I still think I might play pickleball. Whereas like in everything else, like tennis, where I was done competing, I'm like, that's it. I'm never picking up a racket again. Or I used to run marathons, and once I stopped training for that, I'm like, okay, I'll run to stay in shape, but I'm not doing another 13-miler or another 20-mile long run. And pickleball is something that I think I might enjoy my whole life.
I know that's like, I feel like so many people I've interviewed here that are now on the pro tour for pickleball, they kind of, a lot of them obviously came from tennis, like yourself and myself, but like so many people have such a toxic relationship with that sport. And so it's nice to see that like pickleball, it seems like people are just like genuinely happy. Like even James Ignatowicz, he's like, I love pickleball. It's so much more fun than tennis. So it's nice to see that people love it even more than it's just like competitive side.
Yeah, I tell people pickleball is 5.37% of my income, but it's like 99% of my mental time.
Yeah, I
I
love
think
it.
about it all the
Well,
time. I think about it all the time. I'm like at stoplights. I'm thinking about pickleball and like literally, yeah. There's so many nightmares and dreams all with pickleballs. I mean, I can tell you the forehand that I missed at 14-12 against Deckel in Cincinnati for us to win it, and that haunted me till I missed one at the U.S. Open against Kohler. I mean, it just pickleball just consumes me.
oh my God, it'd give me anxiety just to be in your head all tough. I was going to ask you, what the heck are you thinking about 24/7?
Pickleball. I mean,
You
it's
are so, you should be an actor, okay? Now you obviously you do so many things. What is like one thing that most people, you're so interesting to me. What's one thing that most people don't know about you that you think would shock some people?
ooh, that was shocking. Boy, I could come up with a whole list. All right,
Oh
a whole
boy.
list. I mean, everybody knows I'm a sweetheart off the coat. I'm a teddy bear. I'm kind. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows I'm generous. Take care of my friends. I think the two things that would well, I don't know if this would shock people, but two things about me is if you're in my inner circle or in my little thing, you're like you can do a lot of terminally stupid things, and I'll probably love you more. That's just the way it is. But if you're not, you're never gonna get in. And I have so many people are like, I just can't get to know Altaf. But like you tell me all these great stories about him, but I just don't. And it's like my screening it's something is off in my screening process. So people get in or they get out, but it happens really fast. And so I'm trying to do a better job of being more accommodating and giving people, a chance. But the thing that would probably shock people is that I plan my meals and things so far in advance.
I was gonna say, is this a month thing? Like,
It's a
what
Monday.
is this,
Like
Altaf?
I know like Wednesday's date night, and I'm like I will call the restaurant and be like, hey, I'm gonna be there at 5. And when I go there, it's the same restaurant that I've gone every Wednesday at 5. And when I go there, the waitress will be like, Mr. Merchant, do you want me to just get the Altaf? And I'm like, yeah. And she knows she's gonna get the Caesar salad and the salmon with the potatoes on the side and the asparagus. And it's like I'm a total creature of habit.
I was gonna say you are a man of routine, it seems like to the second.
Yeah, and I can tell you every Delta Sky Club in the country and in Paris and in Amsterdam, what they have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
How many weeks on the road are you on the road like every week flying different places or how often nowadays?
No, last year I played 18 tournaments. So it was
Okay.
only, but then I went to India 3 times last year. My parents still live in India.
Okay.
And so, I did the India trip. Um, and then of course, vacations, I'll go skiing, I'll go hiking. So yes, I'm on the road a lot. I was having a call yesterday with somebody about the NPL, which is the senior MLP. And I was like, I I have like 6 weekends free from now till the end of the year. And if I play NPL, I don't have a free weekend. And I was like, I need one weekend off and so I'm like, I'm not playing NPL because otherwise there goes every single weekend from now till year end.
Yeah, you need like a spa weekend. You need to just like do
Oh,
nothing.
that's every third Wednesday at noon. It's set.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
I have it
course.
set every third Wednesday, 12 to 2. Yep,
Part of the routine.
part of the routine. It's set. Yeah.
And just like adding another thing to your plate, you were also part of a nonprofit that started a facility in Owensboro. You're really hyping this facility up to me, Altaf. I hope I love it. No, just kidding. I think I
I'm telling
will.
you
But
right now, you're going to play this weekend, and I promise you, Ashley runs an incredible tournament. You're going to love the facility. Go upstairs. You're going to love the view. And yeah, it's it's one of the first private public partnerships in the country. And the
Wow.
city of Owensboro was very generous to give us all this land. And they said, hey, if you can raise $1 million, we'll match it. We'll build this tennis center. And it's a premier facility in the country. Last year, the president of our board went to the U.S. Open and had great seats all at the entire U.S. Open because we're recognized as a premier facility. And we have 12 outdoor tennis courts, and it's completely funded through like grants, donors, and I was fortunate enough to get the naming rights, and it's called Merchant Center Court.
I love it. And talk to me. I mean, this is a huge accomplishment. Talk to me about the economic impact that it's had on Owensboro.
So we have 4 high schools that play there, 2 colleges that play there. We have about 4 pickleball tournaments that have about 400 players. So we've had millions and millions of dollars worth of economic impact over the past 14 years. So the chamber, the convention bureau would literally say, hey, this tournament, you had a $394,000 economic impact because we'd have the state junior team tennis. And think about it, 600 people coming in, staying for 4 nights, eating in town. And so the economic impact and the effect it's had on our community is so massive that we just got approval to build a pickleball only facility in Owensboro. 16 courts, stadium court, same concept. And Caitlin, I will get calls from like Dubuque, Iowa, and it'll be like, I'm like, man, did I not pay my Sirius XM bill? Like, who's this guy calling me from Iowa? And then I'm like, they left a message, and I check it out, and they'll be like, hey, I'm the parks manager calling because I want to learn about this public-private partnership that you did. And so I get all these parks directors calling me, wanting to know if they can replicate what we've done in Owensboro.
That's amazing. And what made you, obviously, you were a big pickleball player. Was it just like there weren't enough courts in Owensboro? Like, what made you want to start this whole thing?
Well, actually, this is, you might want to like delete the whole thing after I get done telling you this. But it's a tennis facility, so we didn't have indoor tennis courts. So we went to build 6 indoor tennis courts. And the guy that was spearheading the project with us, who's now our general manager, actually said, hey, we should put in some of these pickleball courts. And I go, absolutely not. This is a tennis facility. So
One of those, Altaf.
One of those. But hey, you know what? My heart continues to convert every day. I pray that I continue to convert every day and just get better. And so I converted, and I was we were one of the first tennis facilities that went to the USD and said, we are going to have lines. And we were one of the first in the state that had, pickleball tournaments. And so, yeah, in my world, it's okay to be wrong, but it's terminally bad and terminally stupid to stay wrong when you know you're wrong. And so
exactly.
But yeah, we saw that pickleball trend, and we've had it for now about 8 years. So
wow,
a tennis facility at pickleball for 8 years, that should tell you how ahead of the curve we were.
Well, and that's a great thing too. And you guys actually host, I feel like, tournaments pretty consistently. Because that's one thing here in Nashville. It's like, well, sure, we also lack courts, but it's like, I can never just kind of stay in town and play a tournament. It's frustrating. I always have to travel. So it's nice that you guys have like a lot of advanced players that are able to play in your hometown.
It really is. And I have to tell you, Nashville, I used to play 3 tournaments a year there. I mean, I'm the defending 5-0 Logan Stanley Memorial, men's doubles champion. I mean, I had to win it. I had to double dip to win that. I mean, I had to come from behind, win the thing, and then come back and win the game to 15. So, I mean, this is big. But no, Nashville used to have a bunch of tournaments, and Centennial Park just never got going. And
yeah,
it's like, like Alicia runs a great program out of Lifetime, and Stephanie and Melissa have their thing going, and there's so many different things in Nashville that it seems like it's almost just big enough that people are all over the place. Whereas Owensboro is so close that you're just all in the same spot, and so it's kind of easier to get stuff going in Owensboro.
Yeah, which is so nice, but it's just hard for us to see, like places like Austin, Texas, which is like a mecca for pickleball, and they're like a smaller city than us, and then we struggle to find courts. So hopefully, one day soon we'll get more and more courts so we don't have to travel all the time. But I guess just like looking into this year, what are some of your goals on the Senior Pro Tour?
So this year, last year I've said this publicly numerous times. Every MLP draft that I didn't get drafted, I hit a new low. It was a new level of depression for me, and I was just like, I don't understand, because and this is me doing a sales pitch here, but I'm like, I am made for MLP. Like, I'm the MLP prototype, because I think MLP is all about the intangibles, right? I mean, you look at the top MLP guys, the Rafas, the Julian Arnolds, the Zanes. These guys have that little intangible with MLP, which is that high energy, the ability to get that team to rally around them, to be leaders and take them to that next level, right? And I'm like, man, I will bring so much to an MLP team. And I had a great MLP Austin in 2022. So last year, every time I didn't get drafted, I was like, what's going on? And so a bunch of the players would call me post-draft and say, well, Altaf, everybody looks at you as a senior. You need to stop playing regular events, because then they'll feel like you got to get to know this next generation of players. The old, the Matt Wrights and the Lucys, but you don't know this new generation of guys and girls coming up, and they don't know you and they think you're a senior. So this year, my goal was to start, once the merger happened and everything shaped up, was to start going to more of these tournaments, playing regular pro. So Austin, Eric Roddy and I are playing men's pro, and kind of get back into, because I really want to play MLP this year. I know I can help a challenger team out. And so my goal this year was play MLP. That's it. I had one goal.
Yeah. I was going to say, so obviously you like the team format a lot better.
Yeah, I do. I think it's to me, it's super refreshing. And I think the fans love it, because you're seeing combinations that you're not used to seeing. Like Ben Johnson, Eric Lang. I mean, they looked so awkward initially, but by the time the season got done in that finals, they played like lights out in San Clemente. So you're seeing these teams come together that are guys that would never play together on the tour, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, can they gel and leave their egos at the door and come together and become one? Whereas like Andre and Zane and Rachel Rohrbacher and Anna Bright, I mean, they hit it off day one. Boom, all chemistry. And how much fun, how exciting was MLP Atlanta last year? I mean, I don't watch pickleball on the weekends. If I'm not playing, I'm doing something else. I'm not watching pickleball. But MLP, I mean, I'm watching. I'm pressing refresh on my iPhone to get updates on the score.
Altaf, I'm going to give you your shot, since you said I was so good at asking questions. I'm an MLP coach. Why should I draft you on my team right now?
Look at me. Come on, look at me. Go on Instagram. I mean, so here's the thing: if you're an MLP owner, if you're for a challenger team or a GM for a challenger team, right? I could play right side men's doubles at the challenger level with anybody. You give me, come on, tell me everybody had any podcast, right? I don't care if it's Dan Gingrich, Kyle Yates, whoever you have on Michael Lloyd, whatever, right? You give me a player, any one of those guys, John Cincola, whatever. I could play challenger men's doubles MLP anytime, no problem. And then I get done and I get off the court and I can see strategy, patterns, stuff like that I can help my women's doubles team, mixed doubles teams, and the singles to get going. And if they're going to have 6 players on a team, then it's like I can play my men's doubles and sub out, and then you can get a great men's singles play, like Altaf and Colin Schick. Let Colin Schick play singles in the Dreambreaker and let Altaf play men's doubles. And then I'm an extension of the owner, the GM on the court, right? Because I definitely, for most part, should probably have more respect of my teammates than probably the owner does, right? Because the players are going to be like, who's this guy? He just owns the team. Whereas I'm going to go right in there, in their face, hip thrust. I'll be right there. So I can get my team to rally around me. And between chemistry and energy, we'll pull out a lot of close matches.
I love it. And that seems to be your strength, right? Is like strategy too. Do you coach a lot on the side?
I coach I've had a lot of players ask me to coach them. The problem I have is that I like too many people, and you know, I can't coach Fed and Pablo against Dylan and JW, or Dylan and JW against Matt and James, or whatever. I just can't, because there are a lot of players in pickleball that I like, and so I have probably helped over 25 players that are currently actively playing pickleball. But I've always said, if you call me, Dylan, if you call me and ask me to help you with your game to beat JW, click, hang up. But if you call me to ask me how you can get better as a player, as a person, how do you train better, how do you get better, what I see in your game, I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to help. And Allison will tell you that. I've never talked to Allison about how do you beat, Peristad or X, Y, and Z.
Right.
It's like, how do you get better? That's all that matters. Like, and so I just don't see myself coaching one player, but I could help get a team get better.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's so fun. Well, Altaf, this
Now,
was
hold
so.
on. Now, you're going to come to train with me,
Oh
right?
no!
Are you going to come train or what? I mean, I got this group coming from Nashville for the U.S. Open training. Are you going to come or what?
Oh, I know. Brooklyn texted me about it. I do want to do that. And we'll also hopefully we'll get to play some games while I'm in Austin, Texas too for PPA. But yes, I'm coming to your training session, so I'll be able to judge your coaching skills.
There you go. And if you come in and I don't want any of this, like, I need to learn how to beat that 5-0 because I hate her nails and stuff. Okay. None of that stuff.
No. We're going to do it. You're just going to help me become a better player for me, right?
For you, right? Hey, Brooklyn, that group in Franklin at the Lifetime, they were awesome. That was a really fun
so
game.
Those are the people I play with a lot. We either play I go to Lifetime as well, or this place called Maryland Farms in Brentwood.
I know Maryland Farms. Come on, this place, I know Maryland Farms. But Maryland Farms, courts are tight, lines everywhere.
I know, but this is what we deal with. We're no Owensboro, okay?
I love Maryland Farms. Hey, I played there over Christmas with Marshall Brown, and we played at Maryland Farms.
Fun. Yeah, I was there this morning. So there you go. Well, Altaf, this was so fun. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and stay tuned to see who joins us in the kitchen next time.